I would now like to introduce you to Jill Tipping. Jill is the CEO of BC Tech, and Jill's going to give us an overview on the state of tech in the province. In Jill's role, she is dedicated to helping more startups scale up into the anchor companies of tomorrow. Jill is also passionate about growing and diversifying BC's tech talent pool and encouraging more students like you to explore careers in BC's fastest growing industrial sector. Please welcome Jill Tipping.
Thank you so much, Sheila. And hello, everybody. It is my absolute pleasure to be with you today. So Sheila's done a great job of introducing BC Tech and what we focus on. We're the largest member-led technology nonprofit in BC. We have nearly 1,000 members, and we advocate for the tech sector. We support tech companies to grow and scale. And we also really focus on bringing more talent into the tech sector and encouraging more students to think of technology as the ideal sector for them. So I'm on a mission to convince you today to take the next steps and pursue a tech career. Now, when I joined BC Tech as CEO, which was just about 7 years ago, I really saw it as an opportunity to embrace how technology is reshaping every industry across the globe. And you know what? If you told me when I was starting my career that one day I'd be able to stand in my home and speak to thousands of students across British Columbia, I don't think I would have believed you. But this is our new normal. And it's a great example of how things can change just in one person's career. Over the last 30 years, that same sort of time scale, there's been a massive shift in British Columbia. And sometimes it's as if we haven't realized it. So in the 20th century and in BC's earlier years, we were very much seen as primarily a resource-rich province, and that our economic growth and our prosperity as a province was very much tied to the resource sector. Now, the resource sector is still a critically important part of BC, but in the last 25 or 30 years, BC has actually become dominated by our knowledge economy, by our services sector. So I like to say that today we're mining and harvesting what's in people's heads instead of taking what we can out of this home that we have on Earth. Now, compared to those 20th century economic and industrial sectors, would it surprise you to know that today our tech sector employs 3 times more British Columbians than agriculture, fishing, forestry, and mining combined? So really, this is the dominant job sector in BC, and there's tons of opportunity for people just like you. Now, I know that you're all familiar with technology. Technology is everywhere. But when you think about it, in terms of how technology has changed our world, just reflect that Uber, the world's largest taxi company, owns no vehicles. Airbnb, the largest provider of accommodation, owns no real estate. Facebook, the largest global media provider, doesn't create its own content. Instagram, the biggest global photo company, doesn't sell any cameras. Netflix, the largest TV network, never had to lay any cables. And Alibaba, the most valuable retailer in the world, doesn't hold inventory. And none of these companies existed 20 years ago. The world has truly changed. But let's zoom in on BC, because there's over 11,000 technology companies, large and small, in British Columbia. And 2021 was a bit of a game changer year. We created unicorns. And what is a unicorn? A unicorn is a company that is valued at $1 billion or more. Now, we've built very many very successful anchor companies over the year, and you're going to hear about one of those major success stories, Traction on Demand, from Greg Malpass shortly. But it's important to remember that today there's lots of anchor companies, and our unicorns are thriving here in British Columbia. So what are we seeing these days in technology? One of the most interesting things that happened This year was the release of ChatGPT and the rise of generative AI applications to pretty well any kind of technology company. It's making a difference in tracking things like fish shipments around the globe, or monitoring the dark web, or assembly lines. So, really, you're starting to see AI everywhere. But let's talk about some very specific BC companies. There's four of them, and I'd love to tell you about some of the exciting things they're doing. So, first, Precision OS. They're using augmented reality to train surgeons. So, one of the ways they do that is we can have the best surgeons in the world at Johns Hopkins and harvest their knowledge, and then train surgeons in rural Africa so that they can do surgeries in local clinics at a far higher elevation of safety and proficiency. So, it's really deriving fantastic health outcomes as well as saving money. Another exciting company, Cubic Farms, is revolutionizing how we grow food and building BC's food security. They grow upwards, not across the land, and it makes a far greater use of technology to control the conditions. Meanwhile, companies like D-Wave are exploring quantum computing. That's a completely different approach to computing than we have traditionally used. And for these machines to do the kinds of calculations that they do, one of the most curious things about it is they must be kept at a temperature near absolute zero. So the computer is held in a very safe environment at minus 273 degrees. Makes me think it's going to be a chilly winter. So let's move on to Epsilera. This is a company that really emerged to triumph during COVID, because what they do is they develop therapeutics, but their technology platform enables their therapeutic development to go far faster than it traditionally would. So they actually had a therapeutic for COVID in inpatient trials by the summer of 2020. That's about 20 times faster than they would normally get there, because that's a process that would normally take perhaps 7 years to get to. But partly because of the incredible focus and determination to tackle that disease, but also because of the technology and innovation that Epsilera had, they were able to launch a therapeutic early in 2021. So let's talk about careers in technology. As I said, we have over 11,000 tech companies, large and small, and they employ 220,000 British Columbians today. There's another 100,000 jobs in non-tech companies that are increasingly adopting technology. And we expect those numbers, those employment numbers, to double before the decade is out. So we really need you. I'm pretty sure you know that you could do a 4-year computer science degree to have as your route into a career in technology. But did you know that there are many other ways to get in? There's internships that you can do while you're doing a degree. BC Tech offers those. You can also do shorter courses. BC Tech runs a 12-week data science course. We're about to launch a 12-week artificial intelligence course. We also offer a cybersecurity certification and web development courses. So don't feel that you have to sign up for a 4-year computer science degree to get a career in technology. There's other ways to get in, through community colleges, through short course training courses. And really importantly, tech careers are not just about programming. So there's a huge myth that all jobs in tech require really detailed coding experience and that's all there is. But my members, the technology companies that make up this industry sector, tell me that there's other skills that are just as important. Would it surprise you to hear that critical thinking, creativity, and collaboration are amongst the top 10 skill sets that tech employers need from their workers? Let's look at the full list. Digital literacy, data literacy, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, creativity, collaboration, flexibility, leadership skills, time management, and above all, curiosity and an interest in continuous learning. So if that's the kind of thing that motivates you, there is a place in tech for you. Have I sold you yet? I really hope so. I'm so looking forward to welcoming you to a career in technology, and I encourage you to stay connected with BC Tech. You can sign up for BC Tech for Students, which is our membership stream for students that keeps you up to date with what's going on in the sector and gives you access to lots of great programming. We'll drop the link in the chat. You can also check out some of our training programs, like I mentioned earlier, and I do hope that further down the line, you'll be able to use our job board and perhaps apply for one of our internships. And to the educators on the line, BC Tech is not just for companies or for students. We run a professional development day for teachers on the PD days in BC. So any educator on the line who'd like to sign up for our sessions in February or in April, please do sign up. It's a great interactive session that demystifies everything from AI to quantum. We'll include that link in the chat as well. Well, I hope I've enthused you. I hope I've given you a sense of a thriving, successful industry. I hope I've encouraged you to see yourself in the tech sector in the future. Thank you so much to JABC for inviting me today, and enjoy the rest of the TechWorks program. It's a fantastic suite of activities and programs. Thanks, Sheila.